The Ultimate Husband. By Sky Kissing Wolf.
Episode 81. Granny Linden repeated again, "William, if we successfully sold out our shares, I'll not only reward you greatly, I'll also hand over the Linden enterprise to you." "Thank you, Granny." "Thank you, Granny." William almost burst with excitement. He intentionally glanced at Lily. "Aren't you the highest achieving one here? My deal with Platinum Corporation was stolen by you. Yet, now that our enterprise faced danger, wasn't it me, William Linden, who saved it?" William thought to himself. Sometime later, a black limousine pulled over by the entrance of Linden residence. A man walked down the limousine in casual wear with sunglasses on. It was Trent Young, with a few bodyguards following behind him. He was in his 20s, but with his outstanding skills, he made a name of himself in the martial world. A very capable man. "Granny, Master Young is here." People who practiced martial arts were called Master as a form of respect. Please come in," Granny said excitedly as she stood up. The murmuring stopped instantly, as everyone turned their attention to the entrance. William stood by the entrance waiting. Trent Young marched inside with the bodyguards following behind him. He exuded a strong and powerful aura in every gesture he made. "Ha ha. Brother Trent came so soon." William walked forward and shook his hand. "Bro, this is my Granny." "How do you do, Granny Linden?" Trent nodded at Granny. He greeted in a somewhat arrogant manner. "Please take a seat." Granny did not mind at all, since the man was very capable. Trent reclined into the sofa as if he was at home, while his bodyguards stood behind him in style. The crowd did not make a sound. Granny then instructed William to tell Trent about the corporation. "Ah, so you want to sell your shares?" After Trent finished listening, he nodded and said with a smile, 20% of shares, that'd be 5 billion. "Well, that's too little, I'll pay you 8 billion. "What?" Everyone was awestruck. 20% of shares and 5 billion was considered too little. What was wrong with this guy? Well, it was no secret that this man was crazy rich, owning so many martial clubs and championships. Everyone knew he was rich, but nobody thought that he was insanely rich. In shock, joy appeared on many faces, including Granny. With 8 billion, the Linden family could do anything. William, too, was stunned, but he quickly recovered. "Bro, thank you so much." At this moment, Trent added on, "under one condition." "What is it, Master Young?" "Please tell us." Granny answered without hesitating. Trent stood up and sent his gaze around the hall. He spoke slowly. "When I was talking to William the other day, he mentioned he has a cousin who is both smart and gorgeous. I've always wanted to meet her myself. Therefore, other than the deal we spoke about, the other reason why I came here today is to propose to her. I hope Granny doesn't mind." Nobody saw that coming. Everyone was stunned. Though business marriage was something common these days, so when everyone recovered from the shock, they turned their gaze to Elsa Linden. The most beautiful ladies in the family Linden were Lily and Elsa. Since Lily already married, everyone assumed it was Elsa that Trent was looking for. Episode 82. Under the pressure of everyone's gaze, Elsa was uncomfortable. She wanted to speak up but held back. William recovered from the shock and said to Trent, "Bro, you scared me back there. I was thinking about what could you possibly ask for, so it turned out to be this." Trent did not speak, he just looked at Granny in anticipation. This proposed marriage determined the Linden family's future, which only Granny had the authority to speak for. At this moment, Granny did not hesitate, she smiled. "It's our pleasure to be able to unite with Master Young in marriage." Granny then turned to Elsa and asked, "Elsa, what do you think?" Elsa stood up. As she was about to speak, Trent shook his head. "Granny, I think you're mistaken. I'm not talking about her." "What? Not Elsa Linden?" What was he proposing to? Everyone was in shock. Elsa was caught off guard with mixed feelings on her face. She was relieved but curious. When the Linden family was confused, Trent smiled and walked over with all eyes glued on him. When he stopped walking, the hall was deadpan silent. He stopped in front of Lily Linden. Lily was in a chic dress that complements her elegant body shape, very attractive. She trembled at the sight of Trent in front of her, with her heartbeat racing. "Ms. Linden, I've always admired you deeply," Trent said with a smile, looking right into Lily's eyes, as he reached out his hand. Of course, Lily did not want to shake his hand. After taking a deep breath, she said, slowly pronouncing each word. "Master Young, I think you have mistaken. I've already married." At this moment, everyone slowly recovered from the shock, nodded in agreement. "Bro, you must have confused between the two of them. Lily had been married for 3 years." William nodded. Trent smiled faintly, as he turned to William. "No, I'm not mistake at all. I've always fancied Lily, and I'm telling you, I'm making the offer to buy your shares because of Lily. Do you understand?" William did not see this coming at all. With that said, William's face stiffened with his mouth open. He was caught off guard. "Oh, Master Young, you must be kidding." Granny finally spoke. Without letting her finish, Trent cut short. "Granny, do I look like I'm kidding?" he continued. "If you don't agree, I won't insist. But I hope you do consider your current situation slowly, as you don't have authority in your own enterprise. Without me, who else would pay up $8 billion to buy your shares?" Granny had mixed feelings, but still attempted to talk him out. "Master Young, if you would like to be with Elsa, I won't disagree. But Lily, she is someone's wife. What you're doing is not right." Trent smiled in disdain. "Don't you worry about this, Granny. I've checked the person that Lily married to. He is just a nobody. Isn't that what everyone in the family thinks of him anyway? Also, although they're married for 3 years, they haven't had any child, right?" With that, Trent turned to Lily. "Am I right, gorgeous?" Granny was speechless after hearing that, so was the rest of the family. Trent was right about Daryl. He did not do any good to the family in the past 3 years, that everyone wanted to kick him out of the family. If Lily went with Trent instead, it would release them from the pain of having Daryl around. With that thought, the members of the family agreed in silence. Yet, what Trent was about to do made them all frown with doubt. "Oh my gorgeous Lily, look, your family has agreed, what about you? Don't be shy." As he said, he sat down beside Lily. With a grin, he reached out to grab Lily's hand. Lily pushed away his hand, and said in disdain, "Master Young, please behave." Although she appeared calm when she said that, her heart was beating miles. She had never encountered such a thing before. Trent was such a dishonest man, and he even tried to touch her in front of her family, yet nobody stopped him. Lily was not only nervous but extremely uncomfortable. Why did none of her family members help her out? They just watched. Episode 83. TSK, so sexy. Your angry face makes my heart ache. I want you for sure. Lily's complaint did not make Trent back off but made him more excited. With that said, he grabbed on Lily again. This time, Trent used his martial skill to grab her hands. Of course, she did not manage to push him away. Following that, Trent got closer to her, and sniffed Loldy in front of her, with a dreamy look in his face. "You smell so good." By then, Granny's face turned green. Actually, she had already accepted Trent's proposal to Lily, since it was not something bad anyway. She was about to appoint a date for Trent to bring Lily home. However, Trent misbehaved in front of her and everyone else, in their mansion. "Get your hands off her." Samantha finally stepped in, and yelled at Trent. However much Samantha did not like Daryl and wanted Lily to leave him, after receiving the necklace from him last night, her impression of Daryl had changed ever so slightly. To be fair, as the saying went, one could change his doing but not his habits. Although Daryl had a job now, made some rich friends who lent him $5 million and gave him the valuable necklace. But as the saying rightly said, if you're not capable, it doesn't matter who you know. Therefore in Samantha's mind, she still wanted Lily to leave Daryl at this moment. However, at this very moment, Lily had not left Daryl. And watching Trent being disrespectful, no mother could sit back and do nothing. "Hey you, get off your hands. Do you know where you're at? Linden residence, not your backyard. Get off Lily now, enough." At this moment, Lily was struggling in anger and embarrassment. She yelled, "What are you doing? Let go of me." Granny's face turned green, trembling in anger. The crowd criticized Trent in disdain, but Trent did not care at all. He smirked and looked into Granny's eyes. "Granny, your family isn't showing me any sincerity. I made it clear just now, if you can't agree on my condition, I'll leave now, and the deal is gone. As Trent said this, the rest of the family turned their eyes on Granny, vexed. All they needed was a word from Granny, and this douche would be kicked out of the mansion instantly. However, Granny did not speak a word. She looked at Trent with mixed feelings and let out a sigh. It was not because Granny did not care about Lily, it was just that in comparison to the profits they were losing, Lily's reputation was nothing. Without the $8 billion, the family enterprise would collapse. Granny remained silent, and the rest of the family had no choice but to sit down holding on to the grudge. Samantha was unwilling to, but she had no say but glare at Trent angrily. Lily was utterly disappointed. With that, Trent smiled proudly and became bolder. He pulled Lily in violently. She gasped as she went right into his arms. Before she could struggle, he secured her tightly in his arms. My gorgeous Lily, don't be scared, I'll take good care of you. Trent grinned, pouting his lips as he was about to kiss her. Lily knew she had no way to get out of him. She gave up struggling and closed up her eyes in despair. What was despair? This was despair, being assaulted by Trent Young in front of her mother, relatives, and siblings. And nobody was willing to stand up to help her. This was despair, utter despair. Why did they have to sacrifice her for the sake of the family? She was just a woman, why did they do this to her? Her eyes turned red as tears rolled down her cheeks. She felt his breathing getting closed, exhaling into her face. Daryl, where are you? I'm being bullied, do you know that? She did not know why, but at this very moment, the one person that she wished to see was her useless husband. Her tears continued rolling, she could feel his lips about to touch hers. At this moment, she shut her eyes tight. The rest of the family sighed hopelessly. The moment when Trent was just about to touch her lips, a strong and powerful grip was placed on Trent's shoulder. Damn it. Who the fuck are you? Trent swore as he turned around, irritated that his business was interrupted. A man dressed in low-quality clothes, in his 20s, looked at him coldly. Daryl. At this moment, all the eyes turned to him. It really is you. Lily said softly, her lips almost bleed from her biting. Episode 84. Kid, who are you? Trent scoffed coldly, ignoring the chill coming from Daryl. Daryl deadpanned, Daryl Darby. Oh. Ha ha ha. So you're the trash everyone was talking about. What now? Can't stand me making out with your wife? I'm telling you, your wife is now mine. Trent said with a disturbing and provocative face. You're looking for trouble. Daryl pronounced word by word. His gaze sent chills to everyone in the hall. Was this the same trash? Why did he have such a powerful aura out of a sudden? Ah. Me. Looking for trouble. Kid, do you know who you're talking to? I was still looking for you earlier, now that you delivered yourself to me. Trent pounced on him, like a violent tiger. Watching this, the family surrounding them looked troubled with mixed feelings. However much they despised Daryl, at this moment, most of them were hoping that Daryl could win the fight. Of course, everyone also knew that this was just an extravagant hope. Trent won the Martial Championship 3 years in a row, having established countless martial clubs. Daryl, you can't win him. Go, run away. Lily yelled at Daryl, scared for his life. She was already pleased that Daryl appeared today. However, Daryl stood there, unmoved, as if he did not hear her. Even when he saw Trent pouncing at him, he did not flinch but stood still like a stone. Lily panicked, she ran out of the living hall and called the police. Quickly, the call connected, a police voice came through. May I help you? In an anxious and panicked voice, she trembled. Send someone to the Linden residence now. Now. Someone's fighting. Bam. As Lily spoke, a loud vibration was heard coming from the living hall. Daryl was fighting Trent. On the phone, the police doubted, fighting. Who is fighting who? The Linden family was a prestigious family in town, who would fight on their property. It's Trent Young hitting my husband. Lily said instantaneously, but when she said husband, her heart fluttered and she flushed. This was the first time she admitted that Daryl was her husband. When she finished the call, she froze when she saw what happened in the hall. Not only her, but everyone stared in disbelief. Nobody doubted the skills of Trent, he was the strongest in town. But little did they expect Daryl to be able to match him. At this moment, the fight was intense, they were throwing and returning punches at a speed beyond the grasp of human eyes. Lily stared at this blankly, bewildered. How could he be so skilled? With those skills, it was unlikely to be an accident when Daryl beat William back at Granny's party. Arg. At this instant, Trent moaned loudly and fell hard on the floor. Ah! Daryl won. The hall was drop-pin silent. I lost. Stop hitting me. Trent pleaded with his eyes wide, begging for life. What were you thinking when you touched my wife earlier? Why shall I stop just because you said so? Daryl scoffed coldly, walking closer to him step by step. At this moment, Daryl's face was emotionlessly chilly. Both him and Trent were level 2 master. But after taking the pill given by Samson, his strength was bigger than people of the same level. Daryl squinted his eyes, and stepped his foot on Trent's body. Slap. 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 Loud and crisp, he threw slaps into Trent's face. Everyone in the room looked at Daryl in shock, as if looking at a devil. Nobody said a word. Him. Was he still the useless son-in-law? Lily bit her lips as she experienced an inexplicable throbbing in her heart. 3 years, and it was the first time she saw Daryl being so manly. Episode 85. Slap. 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 Daryl's slaps made everyone's heart skip a beat. The entire Linden mansion was dead silent. At last, 2 police cars arrived. Megan Costello, in her uniform, led a few policemen towards the mansion. Upon entering the main hall, she grimaced at the scene in front of her. Freeze. A police officer walked towards the incident. Daryl stopped, slowly stood up, and flexed his wrist. Recognizing Daryl, Megan walked towards him. Who called the cops? Asked one of the officers. He flipped through his report book while scanning the surroundings. Lily started to come to her senses and quickly offered, it was me. You said someone was beating up your husband. Is that man lying on the floor your husband? Is that man lying on the floor your husband? The police officer pointed to the barely recognizable Trent Young on the floor, taking notes and interrogating at the same time. No, he's not my husband. Lily shook her head, shifted her gaze towards Daryl, and whispered, he is. At that, she hung her head in embarrassment, face flushed. She was unspeakably charming. Upon hearing Lily admit that he is her husband in front of everyone, Daryl felt a sense of indescribable joy. One of the officers swallowed hard, secretly sizing Daryl up. This man actually beat Trent to the point of not being able to defend himself. At that same moment, Trent, on the floor, howled in pain, "Officer, you have to help me. This man is lunatic." To be beaten up in public by a live-in son-in-law, Trent could no longer hold back his grievances once the police arrived. Enough. Everyone, back to the station to take notes, interjected Megan, while glaring at Trent. He immediately shut up and stared at Daryl with utter resent. You, stay back, take everyone's statement, pointed Megan to an officer. She turned to Daryl and added, please follow us to the station. Daryl nodded. Lily looked worried. She said softly, I'll follow you. Daryl chuckled and shook his head. Don't worry, I'll be fine. I believe that Officer Costello will be just and impartial. Upon hearing this, Lily relaxed a little. Daryl entered one of the 2 police vehicles. Only 2 of them in the car. Megan started driving but not towards the police station. Aren't we going to record my statement? Wondered Daryl. Megan glanced at him and said slowly, we know how arrogant and domineering Trent Young is. I can say without a doubt it's definitely his fault. I'll inform my subordinates to check the surveillance footage, things will be cleared up then. Officer Costello, such an astute observation. Daryl smiled. Megan rolled her eyes. Let's cut the crap. I saw with my own eyes just now. You've now become a cultivator, right? Daryl nodded, level 2 master. That piqued Megan's interest. He managed to not only become a cultivator but a level 2 master in a few short days. It must be one exceptional adventure. To be honest, Daryl, do you still have any of the godly pills that you gave me previously? Asked Megan. Officer Costello, I've already given you one, said Daryl with a sly smile, and if I recalled correctly, weren't you the one that warned me to simply not let anyone have it? He added. Megan blushed. I did not realize how effective the pill would be. I have a friend who has been stuck on level 5 master for a long time. If you still have any, could you spare me one? Daryl stretched and replied lazily, what does your friend's problem got to do with me? Though the extraction process of the godly pill is simple, it shouldn't be given out that easily. The pill was sold to Brandon at whopping $2 billion, plus an antique thumb ring. Megan bit her lip in displease. As the criminal investigation team leader, plus a rose among the thorns, she was not used to men rejecting her.
For more episode, don't forget to subscribe.